Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and I'm just jumping on to make this video um, to give you a little bit of an update on the human remains that were found in the suitcases in Bristol, and also a little bit of it's not exactly an update, but some information about Jay that the Sun newspaper is telling us is a possibility. You may have heard this rumour that Jay may have got onto a boat. There's been a lot of talk about it, a lot of chatter about it on the social media. It's now reached the mainstream media. And I'm just going to let you know what the theory is, and then you can decide, as always, whether you think it's got any, any possibility that it might have happened or not. So, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I am in mainland Spain. It is 23 minutes past 2 in the afternoon on a very hot and sticky day here in Spain. And of course, if you're an England fan, it's just a question of marking off the minutes, waiting for this match tomorrow night. I cannot. Part of me can't wait. Part of me is dreading it. But it's very exciting, and I am looking forward to the match. I just wish it was today, not tomorrow. Why have we got to wait all that long? And it's at 9 o'clock in the evening here in Spain, so they've got all day. I'm normally falling asleep by then. Never mind watching a football match that might go to extra time and then to penalties, and then I'm working at 9:15 on Monday morning. But anyway, I tell you what, if England win, I won't care. I'll just do my class like a zombie. But okay, so I want to thank you all my subscribers. Thank you so much. Please, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's completely free. It really helps me out, helps my channel out. Also, I want to thank everybody who likes my videos. Please don't forget to like. That's free. That's a free way that you can help my channel. It really does make a difference. Also, a special thanks as always to my members. I have 2 membership levels. Let's Chat. We have a members live every Thursday evening. And also there's Carry On Chatting. If you're a member of Carry On Chatting, we have members that you can join in the Thursday members live with the Let's Chat members, but also we have an extra members live on a Tuesday evening, so you get a lot. So the Let's Chat is only $1.99 a month, and it really helps support my channel. So please consider becoming a member. And Carry On Chatting again is only $4.99 a month. So I know times are hard, I understand that, but if you feel you like my content, you want to join in extra lives twice a week, and also see some videos on there that are not on the normal channel, and also unlock the members only emojis, maybe you'll consider it. But if not, it doesn't matter. Just watching my video is a help. And I want to thank everyone for all the emails that I receive, for all the nice comments that people make, and it's all you out there, my chatterati, that help me keep going with this channel. Sometimes when it gets a bit tough going because the cases can be difficult, or trolling or those kind of things. So it's all you that keep me going. Thank you so much. Okay, so first of all, we're going to just do an update about these human remains that were found in Bristol. So there was just, universal shock all over Britain, but probably, anywhere in the world that has heard about these 2 suitcases with blood seeping out of them, left around or about Bristol Suspension Bridge. Why were they taken there? Apparently the guy that took them there in a taxi. But to be honest, the details are not clear yet. We watched a video yesterday of a witness saying there were more than one person there, 3 other people. you know, so it's not clear yet, is it? So anyway, then the police went from Bristol to Shepherd's Bush, which is quite a way away, to an address there, and they found more human remains there, apparently. Whether it's this, you know, part of the same unfortunates that have ended up in the suitcases over at Bristol, or whether it's another person, you know, we don't know all the full details, do we? And then last night, yesterday, the police did arrest someone, a 37-year-old man. He's been released without charge, from what I can gather. And they then put out like a bulletin. Let's have a look at that. Saying that they were looking for a 24-year-old, they said initially, 24-year-old Colombian national. So of course, you know, I mean, I know a lot of Colombian people here in Spain and they're lovely people, let me tell you. But of course, the reputation, you know, when you say Colombia, people think drugs, don't they? But believe me, the Colombian people I've met here in Spain, they're complete opposite, hardworking, really nice people, really considerate people. So, you know, they're not all drugs gangs. But of course, when you're talking about suitcases full of human remains, you know, it's not good, is it? It's not good. So yesterday they were saying that they were looking for this 24-year-old, they said initially. I think they've now changed it to 34-year-old. A Colombian national suspect that they were looking for. And they did give his name. Let's see, Mosquera or something his name is. So the guy, so Metropolitan Police confirmed that Justin Andres Mosquera is wanted in connection with the deaths of two men. Now, don't forget, it was a very clear CCTV picture, wasn't it, of the guy with the black guy with the baseball cap on. Probably didn't realize he was on CCTV, and the photo that took of him, that somebody actually said to me it was taken by a cyclist who chased him off. He looked really startled, didn't he? So anyway, he was seen acting suspicious on the bridge just before midnight on Wednesday, July the 10th. And a suitcase containing human remains was found on the bridge, and then a second suitcase a short time later. And now apparently they found more human remains in Shepherd's Bush, believed to be connected to those found oh, sorry, my phone's ringing, don't know who that is. Would that be one of those? No. That particular phone I never use for calls, so that would be one of those calls trying to sell you something. So yeah, more remains found. A house in Scots Road, Shepherd's Bush, believed to be connected to those found in two suitcases dumped near Clifton Suspension Bridge. Police believe there are still two male victims. Yeah, they believe they're two male victims, but formal identification needs to take place. Of course, they need to let the the unfortunate people's. I'm trying to find a picture of the guy so we can have another look at him, because it's such a distinctive picture. So yeah, they need to let the families know, don't they, first of all, before they can release any details of the victims themselves. So yeah, the 36-year-old man was released without charge. So this guy is 34 apparently, and as I say, Colombian national. I'm looking for a photo of him. So it seems like they say they're not looking for anybody else, but who are these other people then, that the witness that we saw being interviewed? Who's the other guy? You know, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? The guy, and there was a woman, with a blonde woman with a ponytail, supposedly. So let's find a photo. Let's find a photo of the guy. But it seems like maybe you can breathe a bit easier if you live in that area now. So here he is. This was such a clear picture, wasn't it? So they were always going to find him, and it was a full-length picture. All the clothes he was wearing, his baseball cap, etc. You know, he was always going to be found, because the picture, whoever took that picture, whether it was CCTV or whether it's from the cyclist, wherever it came from, it's very clear, isn't it? Very clear and obvious. So that's where we are with that case. The guy's been arrested and he'll be being questioned, and now it's just a question of identifying those poor victims, letting their poor families know. And what is this about? Is it a drugs thing, or is it, you know, a family thing? I mean, two men, I don't know. It seems like an argument, doesn't it, between, if it's not, if, you know, or maybe it is a domestic incident. I mean, we just don't know. We don't know all the details, but they're going to be coming out over the next couple of days, and I will, of course, keep you updated. As soon as we get any more details, I will be letting you know, either with a community post, or if, you know, I can get on a video, I will get on a video. So let's put my windows down now as I go along. So this Jay Slater. So let's get on to Jay. Poor Jay. We still don't know what's happened to Jay. 4 weeks, practically, that have gone past. Because this is Jay and his friend Lucy Law. A lot of people think Lucy knows more. I personally don't think she does know anymore. But, you know, I don't know. None of us know. None of us know the truth of what has happened to Jay. Jay was at the Energy Festival in Tenerife. He'd been raving for 3 days, having a great time, his first holiday abroad, really enjoying it to all intents and purposes. And then 4 weeks ago, on the Sunday night, he decided to go back to an Airbnb in Masca in Tenerife, miles away from the apartment where he was staying. You know, this is what people are very sort of, what's the word, you know, not sure about. Why did he go back to the Airbnb with 2 older men? You know, because Jay's only 19 years old, and the men that he went back to the Airbnb for, one is definitely in his 30s, if not both of them. And also, one of the men is a convicted drug dealer. He served quite a long sentence for flooding Wales with drugs, apparently. And of course, it turns out that Jay had a history himself. When he was 16, he was involved in a very nasty sort of machete attack. Not that he wielded the machete, and axe attack on another young lad, in seems to be some sort of gang wars or whatever. But of course, that was when he was 16. And, you know, to all intents and purposes, he'd turned his life around. His boss said he was a really nice lad. You know, his mum and dad obviously think he's a nice lad, and we don't know him, so we can't really say that he isn't, can we? You know, for wherever he was 3 years ago, he's not necessarily where he is now in his head and in his life. Teenage boys change very quickly, don't they? And they take the wrong path sometimes, but they can come back, of course. So he stayed overnight at this Airbnb with these 2 guys. He then, you know, we're not sure of the exact details of why he decided then. In the morning, Mark Williams Thomas says he was hungry and he decided he wanted to go home because he wanted to get some food. But of course, we don't know why he ever went there in the first place, when his apartment was just round the corner from where he was. But he went right up into the mountains, didn't he, to stay with these 2 guys. And this is the mystery of the day, really, isn't it? Why did he go? Why did it? Apparently, one of the guys offered him a lift home, again, according to Mark Williams Thomas. And we have to remember that the things that Mark Williams Thomas says are not necessarily true, because he's not providing any evidence of anything. He's saying a lot, but he's not provided any evidence of anything that is said. He's just telling us what he's saying, but there's no evidence of anything. So we have to remember that. Also, there's this thing that he stole a watch. Was it a Rolex watch? Was it another designer watch? Did he even steal it in the first place? So many rumours that have gone around about this case, isn't it? But ultimately, what happened is the police searched for him for 2 weeks in this mountainous region, very, very mountainous region, and didn't find him. They've called off the search. Police are giving no details whatsoever, except that everything's on the table. So this has led, this information void, of course, has led to a massive social media frenzy, and not only that, mainstream media frenzy. And we've got another documentary coming out soon, which Channel 5, it'll be Mark Williams Thomas giving his theories. It'll be the Nicola Bulley case all over again until Jay is found, or even after Jay is found now. But when Jay's, my theory is still he's gone missing on that mountain. He's either come off the road because Mark Williams Thomas says he was scared when he left the Airbnb, but he still has no evidence to support that. Was he scared? Has he come off the road and gone into the bushes and everything because he was scared someone was coming after him? Or has he just thought that he could take a shortcut? They've searched where his phone last pinged, but his phone's not been found. He's not been found. No trace of him whatsoever. Now, so I'm going to show this article in the Sun. Honest to God, how does the Sun, if they're talking about doing away with social media, how does the Sun even carry on? Because it is total speculation, the things that it says. I've noticed with Sky News that, they're probably not perfect, but they don't come out with all this crap that Sun comes out with. So a chilling new Jay Slater theory has been revealed, speculating he could be alive and secretly boarded a yacht that vanished. Now, this is not a new theory. Social media has been talking about this for quite a long time. So the mystery of the teen's disappearance has deepened after his last known location was on June the 17th. So, we're literally nearly a month he's been disappeared. Was thought to be marked by a ping from his cell phone on Tenerife. And there he is. So this new theory states Jay Slater could have thrown his phone away into the bushes and fled the island. I'm sorry, I can hardly stop. It's a possibility, I suppose. Possibility, just as possible as any other theory. But most of the search efforts, of course, have focused on an area around where his phone last pinged. This is Lucy May, who supposedly was the last person to speak to him. She said he was panicking because he had no water, he had no cell phone, no battery, and he pricked his leg on a cactus and he didn't know where he was, and he was quite upset, according to her. So, chilling new theory details how Jay could have boarded a yacht before vanishing without trace. So, we've got his last known cell phone location. Oh, I'm not even sharing it, am I? Hang on, let me share. And I don't like to share. I don't like to share. Where are we? Yeah, it doesn't matter about not sharing the other bit. I was just reading out to you. I'll show you the photos. Here's Lucy, very glamorous, very attractive. Another photo of Jay. And another one of Jay. So is this how Jay vanished? This chilling new theory. So I presume this red box here is this is, what is that? Because this is Spain, isn't it? So the Tenerife Islands. You see, this is Spain. The actual Tenerife, the Canary Islands, they're miles away from Spain, even though they're part of Spain. They're nearer to Africa. So we've got his last known cell phone location. He stays at an Airbnb with his 2 new pals. Did a boat pick him up here? And then apparently this boat went up here and its radar mysteriously vanished. I do think this is ludicrous, to be honest. But anyway, we have to consider it. After a night of partying on the island, the apprentice bricklayer went to stay with 2 British men he met at the festival before trying to make the 11-hour walk back to his holiday apartment. The phone pinged in a remote area of the north of the island, not far from the Airbnb, in dry and treacherous landscape. But now a new theory, and it isn't a new theory, this theory's been around for a couple of weeks around social media, states that 19-year-old Jay threw his phone into the bushes in order to avoid detection after allegedly stealing a £12,000 Rolex. Though they're still calling it a Rolex, but I thought it wasn't a Rolex. But anyway, what does it matter? I suppose it's a watch. He could then have made his way down the nearby Los Gigantes cliffs via a safe route to a nearby jetty. Now, let's just think about this for a minute. Jay, it's the first time he'd been abroad. Would Jay have even known of that path to go down? To me, it just seems ridiculous that on his first time that he'd been up into those mountains, he knew how to get down onto this boat. He's never been to Tenerife before, never mind to those mountains. Anyway, according to the Sun, Jay may have boarded a waiting boat and skipped the island, meaning the teen might be alive and well somewhere else. Well, I wish he was alive and well somewhere else. That I do wish. Mysteriously, a 14-foot yacht named the Maruba was also reportedly, see, when they say this reportedly, where is the evidence of this? But reportedly recorded sailing past Masca Beach around the time of Slater's disappearance. And a short time afterwards, the yacht's signal stopped registering on electronic maps. Online sleuths have suggested that this could have been caused by the captain switching off the transponder, but the Sun is in no way suggesting this. So where is this yacht now then? Are they saying that this yacht has disappeared completely? So the dangerous Los Gigantes cliffs would be perilous for the dehydrated teen with a 600-meter drop down to the ocean. But a local guide has said there is a well-trodden path down to the beach through the Masca ravine. But Jay wouldn't have known about that, would he? Would Jay have known about that path? Of course he wouldn't. He'd never been there before. Anyway, now we've got the bombshell new clue from Mark Williams Thomas they're going to talk about.
I'm outside the Airbnb in Tenerife Jay Slater went to with 2 British men hours before he vanished on June 17th. The let is in the Masca ravine, where conditions are extremely windy, hot, and much of the ground below is steep and rocky. Former detective Mark Williams Thomas has been unofficially probing the case and claims Jay left this remote holiday let in a hurry the morning of his disappearance. After speaking to friends and witnesses, Mark says Jay was, and I quote, clearly worried about his own safety. Jay travelled to the Airbnb with 2 men, including convicted driver.
Yeah, Mark Williams Thomas has said this. He was clearly worried about his own safety, but he hasn't provided any evidence for that. So, again, we've only got Mark Williams Thomas's evidence to confirm.
Drug dealer Ayab Qasim after a night of partying. He left here early on June 17th and started trying to walk the 11-hour trek back to his own holiday accommodation. According to Mark, Jay did not want to return to the holiday let despite having little phone battery. He told friend Lucy in a final call that he was lost and only had 1% phone battery. No trace of Jay has been found since, despite an almost 2-week-long search. Jay's family and some volunteers are still here hunting for the 19-year-old, despite the official search being axed by Spanish cops. And the Airbnb Jay stayed at has now been relisted on booking.com. It had been taken off the site following Jay's disappearance and searched by police. But when we tried to book the cottage, it came up that no dates were available. These are the steps where Jay Slater posted his final Snapchat picture at 7:30 in the morning the day he disappeared. It showed him holding a cigarette and wrapped in a blanket. Spanish.
Yeah, so there's been so much speculation over this photo. Is that Jay? Why has he got that colourful blanket? He's got his shoes on, but then later the guy said he put his shoes on to leave. Who are the people who supposedly have rang the buzzer to get them to move the car? It's one riddle after another, one rabbit hole after another.
Cops ditched the official search almost 2 weeks ago, with former Army reservist Chris Pennington telling The Sun that was too soon. He said the ravine has not been searched properly and that Jay could still be in there. Chris is a...
Now, they say it's not been searched properly. There's a limit to how much you can search. You know, there always will come a time where they call off a search, won't they? And they did search for 2 weeks. And yeah, maybe it's just they just couldn't keep with the resources. Because, of course, a lot of the problem is the Spanish police are not saying anything. So because there's no official information coming out, you know, people just make things up. She makes something up in a minute. Honestly, do you know, since before I covered the Nicola Bulley case and now this, you really don't realise, do you, how many lies you are told, complete lies, by newspapers, you know, by they just come out with any old rubbish just for a story a lot of the time, and they don't back anything up, and then they complain about social media people for doing exactly the same thing. But you know, they're worse because people, I mean, I would never trust the Sun, of course, but some people do. Some people read the Sun every day and probably think it's gospel, the Daily Mail or whatever paper, or watch the news, BBC News, and think it's gospel, or Sky News like I do. You know, we all have our favourite sort of news channels. But what I have noticed about Sky News, they, and the same as BBC, to be fair, they're not talking about Mark Williams Thomas and what he's found out. You know, that investigation by Mark Williams Thomas, it's just a build up to the documentary that they're making, isn't it? It's all about they're all sort of connected in this story, but other news outlets, more reputable ones, they're not reporting on it.
Among a group of volunteers still searching for Jay alongside his family, he described the hunt as like looking for a needle in a haystack, as the ravine is so vast and rocky. But the Sun understands from Friday the local council is restricting access to ravine.
Right, listen to this. This is so the Sun understands that from Friday the local council has restricted access
to the ravine and only allowing hikers in. They will be charged €28 each and will have to pre-book. It's unclear.
So he makes it sound as if this is something new. We've looked at those hiking tours. It's €29 to go on the hiking tour, and of course you have to book in. Maybe it's because of the weather now and everything as well. You know, I would imagine it could well likely have always been like that. You know, you wouldn't really. You need to be with experienced hikers, don't you? To walk this terrain. Not that it would appeal to me in the slightest, but you know, for people who like hiking, I can see the attraction. It is beautiful, I suppose, in a sort of a very stark way. I'd certainly rather go to the UK and some of the beautiful places there you can go hiking, green, not so rocky, etc. But you know, they're making it sound as if, you know, Masca Council are saying, right, nobody can go and search for Jay. Just awful, what they do.
Clear what this will mean for those still searching for Jay.
So then there's this Mark Williams Thomas load of rubbish. Mark Williams Thomas, a bombshell clue. He has passed on a significant new piece of information to Spanish police. Just rubbish. It's saying he's on the ground in Tenerife. No, he isn't. He was only there a couple of days. He said he was going to solve it in 3 days. Anyway, he didn't. He stayed there about 3 days. He came back and he's just done his updates. It looks like it's from his stables or his shed or something. And he's given no proper information with any evidence, any receipts, and it just really reiterating what everybody already knows and building up to his documentary that's coming out in 2 weeks. You know, oh God, I pray, I really just hope Jay's found before then, so that it just takes the wind out of this idiot's sails.
But this civilization, it's a tourist.
I'd like, you know, I mean, I probably shouldn't be horrible about him, but, you know, I mean, you never see him with the family. You keep saying he's working with the family. Where's even the proof that he's working with the family? You know, like he was working with the family of Nicola Bulley. You know, you never, you know, they seem to sort of hate him. By the time Nicola's body was found, they hated him and Peter Folding for some reason, because we don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. But I don't think, you know, I don't feel like Mark Williams Thomas is really trying to help the family at all.
This national park, somebody must have seen something. Somebody knows where he is. You know, somebody may be keeping him.
So here's Jay's poor mum. I just cannot imagine what she's going through. 4 weeks. You must be thinking to yourself by now, you know, he's not probably still with us. She probably hopes he is on that boat, you know, or being held by someone, because then she's got a bit of a chance of seeing her son again.
Against his will, I don't know. There's all sorts going on in my head, honestly. It's just awful. I don't wish this on anybody. I just want my baby back. We just need to find my baby.
So yeah, I've got a bit of a timeline here. June the 16th, he stays at this Airbnb. June 17th. Now, apparently he left there. He didn't go there till about 6 o'clock in the morning, and he left there not that long afterwards. He didn't really sleep. And then his phone pinged for the last time at 8:50. And I think there was an 8:49 one as well, like a location ping. But again, the timeline, as always, is a little bit, you know, depends what you read. Now, so on June the 19th, you know, they went back to the Los Americanos because it was said that he'd been seen there. That was false. That was another tourist. They found out who that was. It was not Jay. They carried on searching using drones, helicopters, dogs. Then there was that on June the 24th, there was that CCTV image it released of a figure in Santiago del Teide, but that wasn't Jay, I don't think. And then on June the 25th, police rescue another Brit, but he says he didn't need saving. That was the Scottish guy. June 27th, the search for focused on narrow caves. Then they had that last day on June the 29th. They said they were launching a final massive search, and it says only 6 people showed up. I don't think that's true. Anyway, it doesn't go down any further than that, because on June the 30th, they called off the search, didn't they? And that's where we are, more or less. And where is Jay? And Jay only had shorts on and a T-shirt. So, you know, that terrain would have been awful. Like for, you know, we've seen that it can, you know, there's lots of cactus. It's rubbly. You know, oh, I need to go back to it, actually, because I need to read you the rest of the article. So what do you think? Do you think this boat thing is a possibility? I wish it was you know, I'd like to think he is on a boat somewhere. having a good time, but I just don't think so. So anyway, there are then a number of coves and beaches the yacht could have arrived at to collect Jay, and this theory is backed by the online sleuths who claim that Jay was fleeing the island after he allegedly stole the Rolex. Wasn't a Rolex, but anyway. The Rolex disappeared when a fight broke out at a club Jay was partying at, with investigators questioning taxi drivers and bar staff present on the strip, and the last known location of the cell phone was critical to search efforts to find Jay. And here's Jay's dad and his brother looking for him. That's him with his mum. That was him having a good time. I mean, he was completely off his head, of course, because he was at a rave. You would expect that. So Lucy claims he appeared panicked on the 8:50 call. So bear in mind that before that he had spoken to his other friend Brad, hadn't he? And apparently said he was more laughing then, but he was saying, oh, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and he said he was slipping down a hill, wasn't he, with rubble, etc. But he wasn't panicking then. But it was later when he spoke to Lucy that apparently he was realizing the gravity of his situation. So Brad had told ITV's This Morning he didn't think anything was wrong during the talk, but he did say he could hear Jay's feet sliding on the rocks during the chat. And Brad said, that's how I knew he went off the road, because when you walk on gravel or whatever it is, you know what I mean, stones. We were both like laughing about it. He said, look where I am. Oh, apparently the Sun exclusively revealed yesterday Jay was so unwell when partying, hours before vanishing, a waiter gave him water. He probably hadn't eaten anything, and he probably either drank a lot or took substances. It does remind me of the Riley Strain cases. I don't think there is any foul play. That's my gut feeling. But again, I could be wrong. I don't think there's any foul play, though. That's how I feel. I think he's just, gone out, overestimated his capabilities, thinking he's in Oswald Twistle trying to get home, or even if he'd gone out into Manchester. This is, young boys do things like this, and they can get lost. They can get lost in areas that they know well, never mind somewhere they don't know. Yeah. So everybody's saying he was unsteady on his feet. Well, yeah, I expect he was. Again, this reminds me a bit of Riley Strain, because we saw that Riley was completely unstable on his feet. Now, if you remember the Riley Strain case and the videos that we looked at of Riley, who was stumbling all over the place before he unfortunately was found drowned in the river. Imagine if Jay was like that, stumbling around that ravine, he probably thought, it'd just be an hour or something, and then he suddenly realised he's got no water, and etc. So the Sun reports that he was given some water for free because he didn't look well, and they're normally charged €3 for water at the club. So the police apparently have said that officers will continue to investigate the case if any major tip-offs or information comes up. So just looking at this here. So they were at the rave festival, according to this. Then he and his two friends, Lucy Law and Brad Page, headed off to one of the events at Papagayo nightclub. But in the early hours, Lucy and Brad wanted to go back to their hotel, but Jay wanted to keep partying. Now, there's some rumours that Brad and Lucy were, having a relationship. That may be a reason why he didn't go back to the apartments. He didn't want to disturb them or whatever. The guy that he went back to the Airbnb with, Ayub Kasim, said that Jay said he had nowhere to go. But this it is sort of suspicious, isn't it? Because he did spend 9 years in prison for drug dealing. Anyway, for days it was thought that the second mystery man went by the name Johnny Vegas. But Mark Williams Thomas says that in fact Kazim is Johnny Vegas. We still don't know the identity of the second man, who is a key part of the puzzle in Jay's mysterious disappearance. Well, you can bet 100% the police know exactly who he is. Anyway, Kazim claims he drove Jay and the friend back to their accommodation, said they all went to sleep. I mean, that was all a bit funny, but you know, and where he said he offered him somewhere to charge up his phone, but it was in one of the guys' bedrooms. I mean, it is odd, don't get me wrong, it's very odd, the whole thing. In the morning, he offered to drive the teenager back to, they're saying in the morning as if it was hours that they slept. I mean, I think they only went back there at 5, 6 in the morning. So he was, you know, he had his last phone ping at 8:50. So they didn't sleep. They didn't go to bed and sleep properly. And he said that Jay was hungry and tired, wanted to leave immediately. Also, now the other thing that we have to remember is he was seen by the owner of the B&B, was seen coming out of there. So, you know, that's probably why the police have ruled out these two men, because there is a witness who saw him, you know, and saw him walking and asking what time the bus was coming, etc. So that'll be why the police don't think they've got anything to do with it, because they did come out of that Airbnb. So, yeah, he's believed to have been attempting the 11-hour trek. Mark Williams Thomas claimed he left quickly and was scared, but again, no proof. And then Kazim said he was woken up that morning by a phone call from an unnamed friend of Jay, saying he was in a ditch somewhere and had been cut by a cactus. And Jay's friend Lucy claimed to have tracked down. I mean, that must have been from Lucy, mustn't it? How did she have their number? I mean, they did know each other. It's sort of, they had been, you know, because initially they were saying that he'd gone off with these two men that he never knew before, but then the story changed, didn't it? And it turned out that these guys, he did know them from around the area. So some reports have suggested Lucy knew the two men, although it's not clear how. Of course, Lucy's been accused of being a drug runner, a drug mule. You know, who knows? Again, I'm sure the police will have, you know, whatever investigations anybody has done, the police will have investigated just the same and some. So she has dubbed his disappearance weird and suspicious. So it says Jay's family have repeatedly slammed the Spanish investigation into his bizarre disappearance. Well, they haven't actually, because his mum and dad actually said it, didn't they? Many times they've said that the police were doing everything they could. But now his uncle, Glenn Duncan, is convinced of third-party involvement. And his dad, apparently Warren, says everything stinks. Sorry. And Warren apparently said, my starting position, I've said this from day one, ask the two men who've taken him, then start from there. No, it sounds like they've taken him, like kidnapped him, but didn't he go voluntarily? But I do think that is a question, you know, that is important to try and answer. Why did he go with them? You know, maybe they promised him some drugs. You know, they were going home the next day. They ended up staying 2 days because they stayed to help the police with their inquiries. But they were going home the next day. So maybe they said to him, look, we've got some, they wouldn't want to take whatever drugs they've got to the airport, would they, in case they got caught? So they may have said to him, oh, come back with us. We've got some gear left that we're not going to take to the apartment. Sorry, we're not going to take back to the UK because we don't want to get stopped at the airport. You can have it. I think that's a perfectly, that's a theory that could be true, but, you know, it is only a theory like all the others. Okay, I'm going to have, before we go, I'm just going to, before I go, I should say, I'm just going to have a look at the GoFundMe. because this has caused so much, you know. Oh, it's sort of stabilized now, 52,595. So it hasn't gone up much since the last time I looked at it. So yeah, hasn't gone up much since the last time I looked at it. 52,595. But it's a good amount, and I don't know what they're doing with it, but it's their money. And as I always say, the GoFundMe, well, I would have all GoFundMes banned, to be honest, because it just caused nothing but trouble. But people are donating because they want to, and it's not up to us to tell people what to do with their money, and they're donating to Debbie. And I hope it helps with whatever they're going through. Personally, I haven't donated, so it's not up to me to tell them what to do with it. But if you've donated and you're now not happy with the whole thing, then you should ask for a refund. If not, really, and if you haven't donated, you don't really, in my opinion, you know, it's nothing to do with us. The people who haven't donated, it's nothing to do with us, is it? Oh, forgot to share again. Just for a change. So yeah, I don't know if any of it's been, she was talking about withdrawing some of it, you know, to help out with the you know, expenses of them and probably other people, family members that they've probably brought over. They're in a very difficult position because how long are they going to stay there? You know, at the end of the day, how long are they going to stay there? They can't stay there forever. They cannot stay there forever. So, oh, Jay, I wish you would give up. Wish there was some way you could communicate to people where you are. And I'd like to think you're okay, but, you know, I just think it's difficult to think that at the moment. So, what do you think? Do you think he could be on a boat? Do you think he could be on a boat, or do you think, you know, it's not going to be good? There's no good ending to this. I personally think they will find him eventually in that ravine or around there, be a hiker or hunter, somebody who's just probably will accidentally find him, but unfortunately, who knows when? That's the problem for his family. You know, how long do they stay there? Okay, so I'm going, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Please remember to like. Please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. And please consider becoming a member if you enjoy my content and you want to support my channel. And thank you to all of you that have either subscribed, liked, become members so far. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Okay, I think that's it. So I'm going to put my little video on. Remember to look after you, because you are really the most important person. Come on, England, tomorrow. Oh God, I can't believe I've still got another, 24 hours, more than 24 hours to wait before we find out if England are really going to make history. I mean, they've already made history because it's the first time we've been in finals on foreign ground since 1966. So come on, we need something else to talk about now. If you want us to stop talking about that, then we need to win something else. So yeah, look after you. I really do. Think about all my chatters, and especially the ones who I've got to know a bit better, you know, who send me emails and, you know, keep in touch with me, etc. I really do think about you every morning and say a little prayer for everybody on here. We all need prayers to be said for us. But, you know, and always I say a prayer for all our missing, you know, the cases that we talk about. Jay Slater included, so, and his family, of course. Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video, and until then, may your God always go with you. Bye.